Λοιπόν, καλημέρα κύριε Σπύρο Γκράβες. Γάβρις. Το επίθετο ελληνικά πώς ήτανε?
Δηλαδή, σε ποια...
Yeah, in Greek, what was your last name in Greek?
Gavrilidis.
Gavrilidis. So, Mr. Gavrilidis, you were born in?
Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Yes. And then, if I recall correctly, your family took you back to Greece, and then you came back. And what was your father doing?
My father was always, really always in the, my father was in the,
haberdashery.
He was in the fixing. My father was in taking care of your hats, your shoes.
Ah, yes.
All the things, because that was the major part between hats.
Yes.
People need to wear hats.
Yes.
Had to wear shoes.
Shoes, yes.
And then they began to also take care of the, just like, πώς θα πούμε αυτά.
But jackets.
Jackets.
Okay,
ελληνικά θα έχουμε άλλη
έκφραση. Okay. So, and then when did he decide to come back for good?
He came back because the value of being able to establish a new business.
Business.
He didn't make it.
I see.
Very nice business. I was 8 years old. I remember the years. So it was a very interesting. The wars days of the Italians were going after the. See, it depends who was it.
Right.
But the Italians were not able to bring about. I was 9 years old, and then of course the Germans could not be satisfied. They wanted to get some results, but it didn't work.
Didn't work. So
and they brought back to America in
45.
45. Okay. Okay, I get it.
Well, that year, I was remembering why did they leave?
Yes.
When you're at the age of 8, 9, 10,
Yes.
you're just wondering what's happening.
Yes.
Sometimes you begin to, in any way,
Yes.
you understand it one way. And then, of course, we tried to leave at that time, but we couldn't do that because my relatives, they didn't allow my father came back by himself because he.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Now, what was his name, Mr. Gavrilidis?
Achilles.
Achilles. So, Mr. Achilles, the family is from what part of Greece?
My father came out of Kythera.
Kythera, the island?
No, out of the.
Urdu. Trapizon.
Urdu.
Pontos.
Yeah, Pontus.
Oh, yes. Yes, Idis, yes, Gavrilidis. Okay. And your mother also?
My mother is Kerasunda.
Kerasunda, yes. Excellent. So, okay, when they came back to live, where did they move to?
When they came back to Greece?
No, here.
To America.
Yes.
We came back in the island, and we came back and we were in.
You came back through New York.
Yeah,
and went back to Grand Rapids.
Back to Grand Rapids, okay.
Yeah. We came back and we went back to Grand Rapids.
And then why, from Grand Rapids, then you decided to move to Boston, or where did you move after that?
the relatives, my father's relatives were in Grand Rapids.
Yes. And then, when did you leave Grand Rapids, and where did the family go after Grand Rapids?
We did not leave Grand Rapids because Grand Rapids was
Yes.
it was the
You went off to school though, and that's how
My-
you
my
made your
father-
way this
Ah.
way. That's what
my
I.
father was under compulsory,
Yes.
and that was interesting. How does that happen? It happens because it wasn't just the money. There was no special being able to find a way to finding homes, because there were no. My parents came back from Greece. There was no.
You can say it in
If
Greek.
it wasn't enough my parents were not. My father was English American language
Yes,
fairly well. My mother was not.
I see. So you went to school.
They forced me, my parents, to come.
Did they?
But it was a very desirable from the viewpoint of me.
Yes.
And when I first started to go back, and they forced me to go into Central High
School.
School.
In
Central
yes, in Grand Rapids.
in Grand Rapids.
And then from after you graduated from high school, what did you do?
From that, I went to Michigan. We went to
Michigan or Michigan State?
Michigan State came
Yes.
a year later, but it came on a forced
Yes.
desire, and eventually they figured that I was going to be 17 years old.
Yes.
They in the Central Grand Rapids. The beauty of thing was that Grand Rapids was a good. These were all
A very good city to grow in.
very
Yeah,
good, very
yeah.
good.
And then what did you study? I remember now something about food, right? Wasn't it?
Didn't study students at the time as much as trying to be connected to very few Greeks,
Oh.
very few, and the people who. It's very interesting.
Okay, so you're at Michigan State, you're finishing up, and then where do you go? You.
Then when I started to, I had to go on a regular change and analysis,
Analysis, yes?
and I became a general
Manager.
It was. I was going from Lansing, Michigan,
Yes.
to Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Ah.
Very interesting.
And then when did
Good
you
people.
when did you find yourself coming here to the east?
I got the final.
You got here because of the Navy.
Aha, the Navy.
Well, the Navy was.
That's
not,
how you got to Boston.
It was an excitement in the fact that I was able to get a what shall we say, Maria?
Scholarship.
I had a scholarship.
Yes.
It was a 2-year
Yes.
because of having the ability. Because there were only about they had 5, 12.
Month.
We had the school, Central Grand Rapids,
Yes. All right. Now I still want to find out how you ended up here in Boston.
I came to Boston because the Affendulis was my Affendulis was
Commanding officer?
no, my father was working.
Ah,
He was working, and he was continuing to make an earning of being able to
yes.
provide some income coming in.
Excellent. Yes. Okay.
But Daddy, can you focus on how you got to Boston? You went to you ended up being in the Navy, stationed off the Boston coast, and you ended up getting involved with the cathedral in Boston.
Ah.
You met your wife. That's how you ended up staying here, and that is how you ended up being in St. Demetrius, because you and Mom were living in Waltham, and then you were living in Needham, and then you got involved with the church. So I think that's what Manny is trying to get to. So if you could just direct that a little bit more, that would be helpful.
So
they very, very much desired.
I'm gonna go get some coffee.
yes. So you were around Boston as a part of the Navy, and then you started attending the cathedral.
The cathedral from the cathedral did not have much because there was they had a small church.
Yeah.
It wasn't that small. They just didn't have the money
Right.
to be able to build something.
And then you met your wife there?
Let me figure this out. Did I meet? No, I met my wife. The meeting of Greek
Future.
was
Ah.
well, she came. I met her in Michigan State.
Oh.
That's the way I met my wife. Michigan State. She came to.
Daddy, you did not meet your wife at I hope you could be able to cut this stuff as we're talking. You did not meet your wife at Michigan State. You met your wife in Boston. Your wife was in Boston. You met through the cathedral in Boston.
All right. Then
it's a little bit different.
And then at the cathedral, and you were living in Waltham then, or Needham?
He was living in Boston when he met my mother.
Oh, Boston.
Yeah.
And then at what point did you connect with the group of St. Demetrius, the deaconess people, the...
they're all in here. You see
yeah,
them all in here.
The
Amaris,
yes.
Anastas, they're all this tons
Lumos.
of pictures. My mother is very active in the church in the 70s.
Angela Bassett.
Yeah, Mom's all over here.
So, okay, so, and then you, they started in 1959, and we're beginning with Father Bluguras, we're beginning to be a regular church.
And this is Bill Anastas, who...
Yes.
Bill and Effie, she was one of my mother's best friends. She passed away a couple years ago. These were all very close friends of my parents. Okay. All this crowd is all they're old.
And then you find yourself selected to be the first president of the parish council.
That happened in the council we did not have a church. We had a church which was in the lower part.
Yes.
Of the
Newton.
Newton, right. Lower Falls,
yeah.
yes.
So that's right. and I became, at this time, of course, I was getting to be a more advanced student.
Yes.
Students, everybody knew that you were an oncoming, coming with new what shall we call it?
You can say.
I got married.
Yes.
We got married.
In this church?
We
In
got
Newton
married.
Laura Falls?
No,
No. Okay.
No, we got married in the St. Demetrius.
Cathedral.
no, the cathedral.
Cathedral, yes, okay. Most people did that then. Now, and then the thing that I remember about our last talk, I asked you what were the problems that the new parish council of the new church faced. And I thought it might